Hello and welcome everybody. Another lesson we have today about know your audience or analyze your audience. And we were dealing with the public speaking, and we have done a few topics previously, and we have now another one about the audience. So let's see what we have today. I'm Atanayan, and I'll be just helping you with this a little bit about knowing your audience thing. So the speaker wants to share the knowledge and move an audience to share their viewpoint. To do this, they must send their message in such a way that it is easy for the audience to receive and understand. The speaker must know who the audience is and fine tune in a fine tune and how the message is sent to the audience in order to succeed. It's important that the message be sent in a way that it is comprehensible by the audience. So let's see what we have in the first slide there. There, okay. So it's, I think it's done. It's there. Okay, so the first thing we have, apologies, is audience variables. There's a variety of audience. When we talk about the audience, there are multiple people from different cultures and different age groups and all that. So there will be always diversity among a group of individuals, but a typical audience has several characteristics that distinguish it from other audiences. Consider the following variables when tailoring a speech to the interest of an audience. Age range, the first thing we have is when the speaker knows what kinds of events the audience has experienced, or he or she is able to use statements that are meaningful to the audience. These statements help the speaker to establish why his or her ideas are relevant and of interest to the audience. So keeping in mind that the age, it is easier for the speaker to attract the audience. And we have male and female ratio. Depending on the organization or the situation, our audience maybe primarily or exclusively composed of one gender. If this is the case, select language examples and the lines of reasoning according to them, according to their, according to male and female criteria. Okay, effectively delivering a message means carrying the speech to the specific needs and interests of the audience. Okay. We have an educational background, occupational, or we have it's important that we also deal with occupational and economic status. A speaker can assume that an audience comprised of the persons sharing a specific occupation has a certain level of specialized knowledge or using specific kind of jargons with such an audience would be appropriate. Using jargons or referring to specialized knowledge that is unfamiliar to the audience can be confusing, and it could be perceived as an arrogance. Economic level also helps to define an audience. A speech topic that appeals to an affluent audience would be less likely to appeal to an audience of middle class, mutual laborers, or lay people. Whatever the occupation or economic status of the audience, the speaker's goal is to ensure that her or his message is perceived as significant to the audience's lives and experience. When we talk about these educational background, the educational status of a speaker or of an audience rather can make a significant difference in the speaker's approach, wording, and focus. Avoid being perceived as patronizing by keeping them, by keeping your speech level just a bit higher than all of that listeners. But be cautious of using language that exceeds the audience understanding. They should be able to understand whatever you're saying. Then we have political orientation. Some groups pride themselves of being open-minded, but others take firm positions, like they don't want to change themselves. Be aware of an audience's general attitude when deciding whether the speech focuses on a topic or merely refers to it briefly. Okay, you should know, like long stories or they prefer shorter ones. And we have another one that is leisure time activities or leisure activities. Awareness of awareness or familiarity of audiences, extracurricular hobbies and activities helps the speakers further understand the audience's interests and needs. And when we are able to understand the needs, we address them the way they want us to address them. And we move on to another. And then they say it's important to have audience's attention. Well, there are two things here that I mentioned here. Visiting the menu, I mean, it's important where, for example, I have to deliver a speech, so I must go there, visit that place, the venue where I'm going to deliver the speech. So go there first, check out room acoustics and everything, the seating arrangements and all that, which is going to help you understand and be much more confident about what you are going to do in the future. So there's a visit the venue in advance or talk to the event host to gather information about room acoustics, seating arrangement, lighting, temperature control, outside noise, other possible distractions. When selecting the best way to hold your audience's attention, also consider time of the day. It's important that we consider time of the day, like what time is it? Day, it has, it's morning, it's afternoon, or it's late night when people are very exhausted and they have no energy left in them. So make sure you choose a particular specific and considered time of speech. Okay, and then we have concurrent events or activities, like there are similar at the same time. There are more activities going on, which is another kind of disturbance and turbulence for the people, for your audience. Make sure that you don't have anything going on around there. Then there should be like practicality of breaks for lengthy presentations. Make sure that you have breaks there so that you may freshen up and come up with much more energy to listen to. Then we have next slide here. Let's move on to it. What does the audience already know? We have that question already. Discover what is it that the audience wants to know. Figure out which approaches have worked before and which have not. By asking the event host what is the audience, what is that the audience already know about, and scanning publications specific to the audience, consulting local officers, consulting references on the internet in periodicals, or talking with someone who has either spoken to the group or is an actual member of the group. I mean, there are groups there, so you can talk to one of them over there. Then we have more. Let's see. Moving on. So the objectives of our speech are supposed to be: a speaker must recognize what the audience's goals actually. What goals are they sharing? What is that they want? And fashion a presentation or a speech that meets those objectives. The most common speech objectives are to inform, to inspire, to persuade, or educate. Okay, and then we move to the conclusion thing. The next slide. Okay, so a speaker does not need to adjust his or her own opinions or talk only about what the audience already agrees with in order to effectively send his message. But the more a speaker knows about the people in the audience, backgrounds, interests, preferences, the easier it becomes to establish the best way to deliver a specific message to the audience or to the particular group of people. Researching an audience in advance, it will also help a speaker feel knowledgeable and confident. Nervous tension will convert into a positive energy, and instead of being disabled by fears of unknown, speaker will be ready to convert a room full of strangers into a captivated and speaker-friendly audience. So that's it. What we have for this lesson today. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.